That was such an
And we
experience.
live.
Okay. I'll get back to you later.
Wolf.
Julian.
Who did this to my brother?
There was a man. He attacked us unprovoked.
One man! Are you fucking with me?
No, sir. No,
Don't
sir.
you lie to me! Don't you lie to me! Don't you lie to me! Don't you fucking lie to me!
Happy Sunday to you all.
Good evening, UN Spacey Wolf Squadron. This is your welcome in the I am your werewolf. We are doing once again a weekend stream after a long absence of this week. Just thought I'd give the UN Spacey a break for this week since Matthew has moved up the schedule for next Tuesday where we do our early Marvel stream on that one. We'll tell you more about it when we get there. So this is open topic, but we are going to be focused on a few topics here in this stream today. I'm here with the lovely Leia Valor, Leia Plus Size.
Good evening, everyone. This is Leia Plus Size, your lovely lady of valor, and welcome to our weekend stream. Hope you all had a good weekend, and thank you for coming to the show and just see what we're going to be up to this evening. I'm sure you enjoy it.
Along with us is the Warrior of Light, Final Fantasy Fan 12.
Greetings to viewers and fellow Final Fantasy fans. This is Final Fantasy Fan 012, and welcome back to another live stream of the UN Spacey Wolf Squadron. And today we are doing another weekend chill stream for tonight. We do have topics that we are about to cover early on in the stream, but we will cover other topics later on in the stream.
Along with him is the Hound of the South, Dominic Powell.
Good evening, everybody. Hope you all are having a very pleasant weekend. We hope you enjoy what we're about to discuss for tonight's weekend live stream.
Joining with us, as usual, the rare man in the Eritrean Snake, 12-day.
Yo, it is I, the actual only African in this group. But anyways, it's a pleasure to be here. I might be a bit dazed because I'm busy with something at the moment, but I will be just the man outside the whole view here, explaining things from my perspective. But other than that, well, I hope you have fun today.
So, this topic was also suggested by the Hound of the South himself, Dominic Powell, about the upcoming live-action Akira movie that's been talked about for years now. And they finally found a director to attach it to, and we are none too happy, which is fucking hilariously ironic since we're still covering the Akira manga volumes for each month of this year. And this shit happens.
Speaking of which, would you like to pull the screen containing the article, Wolf?
Let me get this shit together.
I feel your pain, Wolf. Trust me, I may not be as knowledgeable of Akira as all of you are.
What you mean you're not as knowledgeable as Akira? You've been following with us for the longest time.
Well, I'm following you has given me knowledge of it, but before following you on this, I really wasn't knowledgeable about it to make the comment that I want to make. So that is what I mean.
While you're in the middle of watching an MCU film in Volume 3, after I just heard over my ear, I was listening.
Come on, Leo. we're treating you with kid gloves here, since you are a newbie in the realm of Eastern storytelling. In this case, manga and anime. Work with us here.
Final's ears are too keen.
Yeah,
I don't know what
I
kind
have
of.
I have a very collective sense of hearing.
I see. I didn't think anybody was going to hear. Final just had to hear it.
As well as smell, a little bit of smell too.
Oh. Maybe
But
my
Kathy,
words
This
didn't
nigga
come
is
out
our war
clear,
boy.
but what I say is,
well, I was going to say bloodhound.
yes, I wasn't as knowledgeable of it until I started following all of you with it. But before that, no, I didn't have that much knowledge of it. But since I've been following along with you guys, now I have more a sense of it. But I do feel Wolf's pain when it was announced who is going to be directing this. So I think Wolf has a right to be either very, very angry or very, very afraid.
Prepare to groan once you hear
Yeah.
who the
No,
director is.
I was flabbergasted too. I was flabbergasted when I got wind of this piece of news.
Akira live action movie reportedly moving forward with Taika Waititi.
Oh, God.
See what I mean?
The most
Yes.
racist individual in Hollywood. So racist.
So
That's
he's
the
showing
thing,
his
guys.
true colors so far. He's showing his true
Yep.
colors. I thought he
That
was a
means-
very entertaining type of happy-go-lucky person. I thought he was gonna be something like M. Night Shyamalan, who just likes to make movies. You know, M. Night Shyamalan has his isms
Yeah,
every once in a while, but on the whole, you could tell that M.
he
Night
loves movies.
really loves the craft and storytelling. He may not make the best movies, or at least he may not make the most satisfying conclusions to his movies either. That's really the major problem with his movies per se, especially the recent movies that he's been making so far. They don't have satisfying conclusions,
Yeah,
and maybe our taste differs from his.
I agree.
Because on the whole, I'm going to say this: I like to believe that M. Night writes for himself. But
Yeah.
we're entertained by, we're for the most part, can be entertained by stuff that he writes for himself. He came close to being Stephen King, but I digress. Taika Waititi, on the other hand, this motherfucker is us all over the damn place when it comes to
Yeah.
movies.
Well, I would also like to add, unlike Waititi, Shyamalan, he not only listens to critique, but he learns from his mistakes.
Yeah, I
Taika
said everybody
Waititi
was.
has some serious issues. What is the deal with these directors? They've got some serious issues they need to deal with. I don't know what happened to them when they was kids. I don't know if they was bullied on and their candy was stolen from them. I don't know what is going on, but he just has some issues that affect his filmmaking ability. I don't know why. Like you said, does he really want to tell a story, or he just want to let off some steam on people that he, like I said, with somebody had a
You know
contract
what,
with
Humble? I kept thinking that every single time I say his name in my head.
Mhm.
Well, one of
got
the,
an issue with Zero.
Excuse me for the language, but that nigga's fucking crazy.
I mean,
He is. What is
you're not far off, because one of the ongoing issues that we've been facing for a good long while is Hollywood and other facets of entertainment, like they're no longer hiring people, the best people for a job like through their vetting process, and they're not looking for those like who are truly passionate for the craft of storytelling.
I was so glad when they made his ass the villain and freaking Free Guy.
why? Because
His
he deserved
downfall
it.
was amazing because the character he was playing in that movie fits his personality to the
To a T. Yep.
Yeah, it does.
I need to watch
And
that movie. Fucking
Dominic has such a good point. The reason so many movies, TV shows are sucking so badly is because they are hiring the wrong people. I was saying that the other day, talking to someone, they are hiring the wrong directors and writers for productions. They're not getting the right people. First of all, they're not hiring people with talent. They're not hiring. There's a big talent shortage in Hollywood. They're not hiring people with talent, and they're assigning them to projects they should never be assigned to. They shouldn't be. They're too lazy to make their own stuff. They don't want to do their own stuff. Either they're lazy or they're talented, and they know nobody will buy it. So they go into other franchises which they know nothing about. They don't do their homework. They don't read. They don't study, and they just tear it to pieces. And that's one of the biggest problems we're having. Is writing and directing. It's just we're not getting that. We're not getting those days when we had like a Spielberg who did Close Encounters and Jaws and films like that. We're not getting those type of directors. We're getting
or Martin Scorsese.
Same thing with We're not getting those pool of directors that we had. We're just getting people that should never be touched. Like I was going to say, the reason the Thor movies got worse is because Taika, I believe, hates heroes. First of all, I think he hates heroes. I think he hates guys like Thor, and he made those movies to make him look like a fool. And seems to be his theme. And heaven forbid,
Thor. He didn't hate heroes. What he did was follow where the money was and follow exactly what they told him to do so he can collect his paycheck. He didn't have to make Thor the way he was. He didn't have to do all that. He did because of the money.
I agree, but you don't see any spec that maybe he.
I don't even see anything about him in interviews talking about how much he hates. Don't like how he's doing these movies nowadays, but I'm not going to ascribe to the idea of him not liking what he writes. I'm ascribing the idea of he's doing what his checkbook tells him to do.
Very true. I'll give you that, but you don't think that maybe there's a part of him that said, "Finally, someone who thinks the way I do." You don't think a little bit of that is in the sauce?
Nope. Because I don't think. Well, I've never seen him in interviews at all, so I don't know what his mindset tend to be with these interviews.
Well, getting back to the article as we continue to do our commentary. Let's not fall into tangents again.
Excuse me, tangents are the bread and butter of Wolf's show. So
they may be our bread and butter, man. However, we need to be focused.
Yeah, because there's something I do want to talk about that once we get to that a lot later after this article. But for now, let us proceed.
When it comes to anime films, few titles are bigger than Akira. Creator Keshihiro Otomo put the feature on the world stage decades ago, and now Akira is hailed as one of the best sci-fi movies of all time. Incorrect.
And manga.
A few years back, reports surfaced that Thor Ragnarok director they don't even reference Love and Thunder.
That movie does not exist.
See what I mean? Yeah. See what I mean?
Was looking to take a crack at Akira with a Hollywood adaptation, and now an update suggests Waititi is still working on the film. Bullshit. The update comes from Justin Kroll, a senior reporter at Deadline. In the wake of Star Wars Celebration this weekend, it was there Disney and Lucasfilm confirmed Waititi will be directing a Star Wars film, but no word was given on when. Kroll stepped up to answer the question and said Star Wars flick will likely get on the way once Waititi has had his way with Akira. Choice of words there. Since everyone is wondering where his Star Wars film is, if I were a betting man, my guess is Taika's next movie is his Akira movie at WB, which he put on shelf to do LNT. What is LNT? Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder.
He never let the film. He never let the film in word his script should be into studio soon. Kroll shared. Again, nothing set in stone as the film will go through regular process before green light, including figuring out budget. But sounds like all his focus is on that project. You know what? We already had a freaking live action Akira film. It was called freaking Chronicle.
You're not far off with that comparison, because It does share some similarities with Akira, even though like it told its own original story.
Mhm. This update on Akira is one of the first we've gotten in ages, to be honest. In 2007, reports surfaced connecting Watita to the live action adaptation, and Warner Brothers went on to schedule a release date for Akira. However, the studio wound up tabling Akira once Waititi agreed to focus on Love and Thunder for Marvel Studios. At the time, it was unclear whether Warner Bros. Were going to shut the Akira adaptation for good, but that doesn't appear to be the case. According to Crawl, Waititi has kept Akira on his back burner, and he is now trying to piece together an adaptation. If you're not familiar with Akira, well, just know Waititi has big shoes to fill. Ultimo's gorgeous, groundbreaking movie made its debut in 1988. Set in a dystopian world, Akira tells the story of Shotaro Kaneda, the leader of a biker gang whose life is turned upside down when their friend goes AWOL after unlocking telekinetic powers. That ain't how that works. That ain't how it goes for one.
Yeah,
Akira, Akira helped define the cyberpunk genre with its release. That is true. And to this day, many count Ultimo's film as one of the best movies in history. That is also true. So for those who want to know more about Akira, you can read its official synopsis below. Why the fuck you didn't put that in there? You went on this long ass. Fuck you. Neo Tokyo 2019. To see it. That's wrong. 2019? Was it 2019?
I think it was in the far future. It should be in
Yeah.
the far future.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like
no,
was it set in 2019?
no, it was set around the 2030s.
Yeah, 2034, right.
Yeah.
So that's in bitch, what the
The person does not know anything about the story at all.
No, she didn't do her research before writing this article.
Of course
This
not.
this is this is supposed to be the official synopsis, right? I could have
Hold on.
Yes. It's
I
supposed
could
to
have
be.
sworn they may
Where's the
have changed it in the
synopsis?
adaptation. Because
I'm looking for the
remember,
official synopsis.
yeah,
Trying to look for
remember
this.
remember the movie differs from the books themselves.
Yes.
So they could be correct. They could be correct.
Wait,
But-
hold on. What is it? Hold on. Wait.
Give us a moment.
It's from the
while I-
official wiki page. It's
Oh
from the Wikipedia.
wow!
This is from twice. That's 2019. It's from the Wikipedia page. That's where they pulled that from.
Comic book doc. Sometimes there's some writers here at this site get a lot of things wrong. I read some other stuff too. Like final.
Red flag there.
Wait a minute.
Neo
Yeah,
Tokyo.
I've actually read articles from comicbook.com in the past. However, they're not really trustworthy like CBR and other comic book like news sources. And I use news sources loosely because they're not really doing journalistic integrity.
Like I said, I don't remember it being 2019 when they showed it in the
Was
animated
that exactly
film.
when the bomb dropped? Like when the explosion happened?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, 2019 is when the bomb dropped, which launched World War III. 2034 is when in the aftermath of it all, once after the world has
Right.
moved forward
That's
from
why
that.
that's why they renamed it Neo Tokyo. So if it's supposed to be Neo Tokyo, that did not happen during 2019. It happened in 2034. The city is well on the way to rebuild after World War III. The central characters, Kaneda and Tetsuo, two high school dropouts, are members of a joyriding motorcycle gang. In the opening scene, Kaneda and Tetsuo stumble upon a secret government project to develop. No, they did not. That is also incorrect. Apparently,
Very much, because
to develop
we
humans apparently for use as weapons. Tetsuo learns of the existence of his peer Akira, the project's most powerful subject, and determines to challenge him. They make him sound like fucking superheroes.
No, that is not how the events in the manga happened.
They
And
make them out to be
apparently
like
they
some
don't fucking
action
care.
bros, man.
And apparently they don't even care because to them they think everything anime is the same to them. But again, we'll talk about this. I'll talk about this a bit later because I do have a
Well,
lot to say. But I'm not going to go on
yeah.
a tangent. I won't go on a
Well,
tangent. I will have a lot to say after all this.
yeah. We'll get to that after we're done with our commentary on this article here.
Would you like to see YTD tackle Akira? No. With a live action adaptation? No.
No.
Absolutely
Share
not.
your
No.
thoughts with us in the comment section below or hit me up on Twitter. Megan Peters CB. No, bitch, no.
Nope.
I don't even want your
No.
fucking number either.
I know exactly what to tell Taika.
Fuck
Put a
off.
spin on, or yeah, put a spin on this.
Yeah.
And also, this is another one for cheating on your wife, Taika.
Oh shit.
Oh
We
yeah,
all
that
going to get
that
on
did
that
happen.
now.
Wow. And
I
he has
hate
the
cheaters.
and same here, man. NTR for me is like the fucking cancer of society. But anyways,
Everybody
The
knows.
fact-
Final's not wrong. Everybody knows about it. He did it right in the open, pictures and everything of him cheating. But I'll get off of that. Of course, yes. There were pictures
Yeah.
everywhere. He posted of him cheating on his wife.
Yeah, you know, throuple.
Yes, it was no
Oh
secret.
my- Ha, ha, ha,
An
ha.
open
Because,
secret.
because he has such an ego.
Yes,
Bro.
Well,
Bro.
we well, as much as we want to like to give what YTD a severe critique and also a face slap. After the moral of the story after reading that article is protect your intellectual property.
Yeah, because after hearing about all this, I have now 3 things to say. Firstly, I'm not really surprised about any of this that Netflix is just going to be doing because they're just doing this with every other anime with this now. They've done this with Death Note. They're about to do this with One Piece. They're doing this with Akira, what we see now. They're doing this with My Hero Academia. And oh my god, they're so bad. They are so bad. And also, second thing, and if this sounds like they really didn't even do any research on the manga or the anime film, it really does sound like they didn't, and they don't even care because to them, everything in Japan
It's the
really
same.
sounds like it's the same. Yes, because apparently everything about Akira, they apparently treat it as if it's anything like a Super Sentai or a Kamen Rider, when it really isn't. It really isn't, because Japan even knows they're different genres. Yes, people like anime can be for girls, manga can be for girls, but in a different genre because people like different things. This is what Japan does absolutely well and how they would know their audience, which unfortunately, while most people in this country would in the West, but a lot of them, especially mainstream today, they don't because they're so fucking careless. And the third thing, we've already said a lot of our things about Taika Waititi here, but yeah, the dude needs to go. And
Child, they already adapted Sailor Moon.
What?
Yep,
many times
90s.
in the
might as
90s. Yeah, and multiple stage adaptations too back then.
What were the adaptations? Same name?
Well, the difference is when Sailor Moon received an anime adaptation in the 90s, it was handled well, and from what I've gathered from the stage productions, like even from clips of it, like they were also faithful to the source material.
Yes. And yeah, so yeah, we've already said a lot of our things about Taika Waititi, but this is for making that movie and everything else that he's made by far ever since making Thor look like a clown, and this is for cheating on his wife. Rest my case.
Oh, you done? Oh, okay. Wait, what Netflix series, Child of Fly? When was that announced?
Or where did you get that piece of news?
Yes, I didn't hear anything
No,
about
she
that.
was hoping that he might do that.
Oh.
Oh,
Or at least she's hoping that She's wondering if there's something like that floating around on stream.
Ah, okay. Now that makes sense.
No, there hasn't been no recent adaptation of Sailor Moon. I'm just saying there have been an adaptation of Sailor Moon, just not the modern adaptation. And boy, I do not look forward to that either.
No,
If they
no,
ever
I
announce
wouldn't.
it, man, I'll start riding if they even entertain the idea of adapting Sailor Moon. Because number one, they'll just look at it and just think, oh, girls and skirts, that's for the male gaze. Disregarding the fact that each of these girls have their own, bring something to the table in their conquest of bringing justice to the evil forces that wants to harm humanity.
Right. That's what they
They
don't
forget.
get.
They won't even
That's what they
know,
tell 'em.
or at least they will miss the fact that the Moon Kingdom is led by Queen Serenity, or former Queen Serenity, since she gave her life to save the Moon Kingdom, save her daughter and her son-in-law from total destruction, along with her guardians, the Sailor Scouts, or the Sailor Senshi, as they're called in Japan. Let's not also forget the original blonde leader was Sailor Venus.
Mm-hmm. And
Mhm.
even before Sailor Moonlight, she, the mangaka, she made Commander, codename Sailor V first.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you think about it, Sailor Moon is actually a continuation of Sailor V.
Mm-hmm.
They won't get that. I can see it now. Let's cast all Sailor Moons with drag queens.
Not trannies, child, cross-dressers.
Even worse.
Mhm.
Sailor Moon,
Yeah,
a
drag
show for
queen.
girls, or just to be honest with you, more for people that like that type of style. It's not for girls per se.
Mm-mm. With trannies and drag queens. I see it clearly.
Oh, I can.
Don't
The race
don't
swapping.
oh,
The race swap is
don't
gonna
don't
be
give them any ideas.
hilarious. The race
Yes.
swapping will
You
be
know they're stupid
fucking.
enough to do it anyway.
The race
Yeah.
swap will be
Guys,
fucking hilarious. I'm gonna tell you how they're gonna race swap who.
They're gonna make Sailor Moon to a black girl with blonde dreads.
No, no, it's not gonna be black. It's gonna say white because she's the ditz.
Okay.
Okay.
Mars is gonna be black. Jupiter's gonna be Indian. No, actually, no. I take that back. Mercury's gonna be Indian because she's smart. So make her Indian. Jupiter will be Butch.
Yeah. Okay.
Venus will be Latina. They'll make Venus Latina. For sure they'll make her Latina.
dang
They
it, guys,
because
don't give them any ideas.
We don't need
oh I
to. They'll do it. We
oh
just
I
Yeah,
want
you
them
know they're
to
stupid enough to
because
do it anyway, Dom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
I know they're going. No, seriously, I want them to do it because for one, they're fucking being racist to the Japanese
To everybody.
because
Oh yeah.
because
I
number
mean,
one,
again, not just
all
Japanese,
them
but
bitches in
everybody.
the group are freaking Japanese. They just happen to look American. Each and every one of those girls is Japa fucking niece. They just dress and look like freaking Americans. It was intentional. But like I said, I
Because they
want
were
them to do it
cute.
because that's gonna every anime fan is gonna throw a bitch fit over that shit.
Yeah.
Well,
The hypocrisy.
anime manga fans will take it.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, and that's
we grew up
exactly what they
on manga,
want.
and well, they really want to get a rise out of us, like who have been following comic books and manga and anime
Because they
for a
want
good long
attention.
while.
They just do this just to get this green light, just because they want our attention.
They want their money
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
want to piss us off because of attention.
they'll be surprised with those of us who are more familiar with Eastern storytelling, telling like we'll be able to show them like how stupid they are by like regaling them facts.
Atana's right. They would do it to make us angry. That's the first thing, because that they get off on seeing us upset. And number two,
These days now.
yeah, that's their
Oh yeah,
entertainment.
another thing. Now I remember what I was actually gonna say. Thank you. Now that you brought this up, Leia. Really, why? Okay, bringing this to Netflix, I'm just not even surprised. Even though this ties into one of the reasons that I basically said a lot earlier. That what's even the point? Like, 12 Days said this in the green room, but Netflix streaming really needs to die. I know I've said this so many times, but I'll gladly just say this again.
Yep.
Why do I need to bother? Why do I need to go to streaming to watch any of my favorite shows? But watching any other new stuff doesn't even interest me anyway. But yet, but if I want to watch the older stuff, why would I even want to watch any of that when it's all hiding behind a paywall? Fuck that shit.
Oh, I think streaming for me is overhyped. And like I said, too many people to put eggs in one basket. Like when people told me you got to get Netflix, I watched it, and half of that's new stuff on. Wait a minute, I'll take it back. All of that new stuff, well, except for the Red Sea Diving Resort. That one is my own personal favorite. I don't care what anybody says. That's for me. But other than that one film, none of the movies on there that are new. Anybody in the chat has seen Red Sea Diving Resort? You know what I'm talking about. So I don't have to go any further.
I forgot. Now I know why they were just streaming, because of the
I don't know that movie, so you'll have to excuse me, or show or whatever.
Yeah, because of that, because of the binge culture, because because this country thinks very little of people.
Well, half of the new movies on there aren't good. I watched it for the old stuff. Look, if they had an old movie that I really like, or older films, or TV shows. But other than that,
It depends if you like the old guard.
Yeah, well, mostly it's just like if a movie I haven't seen in a long time, or you know, or TV show that I haven't seen in a while. Yeah, I'll watch it for that. But anything new, I don't care for. None of their new productions I don't care for. I just never got into Stranger Things. I tried very hard to like that show, but I
couldn't watch that. I couldn't even watch a single episode of that show.
Yeah, I fell out of it. I don't care for the Wednesday show. I feel like that's a show for a younger girls, in my personal opinion. I don't hate it, but it's just not for me. And I can't. I'm like, these shows are not good, and maybe for the reason that final you said.
Umbrella Academy had the potential until Ellen Page decided to get a sex change.
Yeah, you get that.
I mean, it was already bad to begin with, anyways. Since season 2. Jesus Christ, don't even get me started on season 2. Season 2 sucked.
I vividly remember the conversations we had when we started talking about Umbrella Academy, like the source material and its adaptation.
Jesus Christ, why did they do that to Gerard's freaking baby like that? Like,
because they're evil.
That's a major disrespect.
How the fuck you gonna follow the damn comic books barely in the first season, and then just fucking diverge from that shit?
Yeah.
Just completely diverge from it. We'll be here all day. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. We'll be here all day.
I think Final is right, though. I think that binging has hurt writing. That's one reason why I think streaming, that binge model, they need to let go of the binge model because it's killing writing.
It's an unhealthy style. It's really unhealthy.
Yeah, that's why these movies aren't sticking in our memory, because you forget it in 24 hours. Yeah, after 24 hours, you absolutely forget it. You know, more movies. I remember more movies from back in the day than I do what they're doing now. It's because that binge model just is not working. I think it's killing writing.
Well, I mean, we pretty much already said our piece. Our piece about the announcement of the Akira live action adaptation. So we might as well transition to our next topic, which is what most of these modern artists, and I use that term loosely, what they get wrong about storytelling and visual arts.
Say that again, Dominic. Repeat the question.
On how modern artists, quote unquote, get wrong about storytelling and
visual arts.
And visual arts. And 12 Day just said the answer. It's fucking everything.
Thank you. Because
Yes.
that's the reason.
But we need to. Yes, I mean, but everything like it's kind of vague. So we might as well. We need to bring up examples.
How is everything
so
that vague? It's literally just everything. All of it. All.
Even so, we want to give. We want to like explain to the viewers on what they are.
Okay, I can give you what it is in very, very brief summary. Story writing is trash because they never take into account the original context of the stories, or the original story, the story they're copying the story from because they don't care. Second of all, due to the fact that they don't care about the story, it causes the story to not make any sense because the point of the story is, let's say, points of contact or plot is lost immediately when you have no point and you have no background to lay the story that you're making on. 3, the actors are trash. The reason the actors are trash is very simple. First of all, they don't choose based on merit; they choose based on race, which is evil and racist, and taking us backwards instead of forwards. You regressive morons. And finally, fourth, the directors and the producers do not have a lick of sense when it comes to actual storytelling, or even they don't have the basic notion that a story is basically a pattern laid down for people to make in their mind and understand the moral virtues eventually at the end of the story. That's it. All these are the points. Simple as that. Story, no plot. Plots, original plot being destroyed. Characters not represented correctly, and if not, and not even represented correctly, represented wrong on the premise of Marxist collectivist cultural bullshit. Like, we'll make the main character black, for example, or some shit like that, which makes no sense. And finally, the directors and the producers have nothing to care about. They just want their money and leave. That's it. Simple as that. I gave you everything right there.
It goes beyond just what you just all the points you mentioned, Twode. Other factors are if the story that they made for a book, a comic book, a game, TV show, or movie is original. These artists are going by their first draft instead of multiples upon multiple drafts that have been revised so many times in order to have its potential fully realized. The other one is the continuing of lowering our standards in the approach of storytelling as well as visual art. Because like what these cats are being taught is to not take the rules of art and storytelling seriously.
Yeah, I would agree. I definitely agree with Dominic. Well, first of all, 12D, all your points are valid. If I could maybe expound on one of them is,
please do.
Well, let's take, for example, the adaptation of a comic book or novel or graphic novel. A comic book or graphic novel or a popular novel, particularly comic books, those are visual mediums or visual of form. So the reader is used to who and what the character looks like and how the who or the character is supposed to act and behave. So when you take this visual medium that they're all used to and you adapt it, and all of a sudden you make unnecessary changes that have nothing to do with the progression of the story, it hurts the story. Basically, in bottom line, all of this race swapping makes no sense at all, because if you are, what is your reason behind the swapping? Was it because this actor was so outstanding in their performance you had to hire them, which most likely is not the case. He's right about that. Why are you changing the time or location of this or this character's behavior? What is the reason for changing the character's behavior? If you're changing this character's behavior that's out of character of who that person is, that is going to turn off the audience because they've come to see this character behave. I.e., for example, Batman is not a psychopath. Batman is a man that is inspirational because he wants to protect people from going through what he went through. But if you don't show that, if you try to take it into something else, you are dissecting the IP. And also another factor, yes, there's a lack of talent in Hollywood right now. Actors are not being cast because they're right for the part. It used to be back in the day where even if you were a big star, you still had to audition. And you had to audition for that part. The director and studio had to be confident in you that you can carry this picture. And if you weren't that actor, they're not going to hire you. We all know thousands of stories of all these actors. I mean, at one point, I'll give an example, for instance. They wanted Tom Cruise for Tony Stark, but Jon Favreau felt that I don't think he can pull Tony Stark off. It doesn't mean Cruise is not a good actor, but he wasn't the man for the part. But he said,
Thank God
Studio
we didn't put him in it.
Yeah. They didn't put him in there. Yes, they didn't. Studio was hesitant because, of course, Downey had a history with the law and an addiction problem. But Favreau had faith enough that I think this is your man to pull this off. They don't do that now. They just they pick people on the basis of I guess their pronouns or their ideology. And that's why I think movies are so bad, because the wrong actors are being cast for the wrong parts. And I also think swapping these characters, race and gender, is hurting the storytelling because it doesn't
Or
contribute
sexuality.
to the story and the sexuality. Yeah, it doesn't contribute to the story. Iceman have never been a gay man, but all of a sudden you decide he's going to be gay. Well, you can't do that out of the blue. You know, you can't just up and change it and then expect your audience to sit back and drink that Kool-Aid.
And
So
they
that's-
did.
Yeah, they
wanna say that
you for
they
that,
did.
Bendis.
And they want to say that, oh, this has happened long ago, when no, it wasn't. Iceman, and I want to bring him in there, Bobby Drake and Johnny Storm have always been ladies' men.
Yeah.
They're always
Mhm.
flirty with the ladies. Hell, my character in Light and Darkness, Astrapi Pathos, he's a ladies' man. A lot of the ladies just cannot get enough of him.
I
He
agree
has a
100%.
charisma type of.
Yes.
And it's hurting the storytelling. It's hurting it.
Call for
And-
what it is. These idiots have no idea of how hypocritical that they are when they espouse on certain themes that they recognize in these old school movies. They want a master and slave type of dynamic for everybody, where they're holding on the masters, and they want everybody to be your slaves. These people that they're race swapping these actors with, those are they're going to be the house Negroes in the near future, if we ever see them again. That is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the sad
remember,
thing.
You guys got to remember, we don't hear nothing from these actors ever again. I was surprised to see freaking what's her face, who was the new Maria in that remake to West Side Story and Shazam: Fury of the Gods. I was like, oh shit, that's Maria. Simping for a white dude, as always.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked
You're
about
not
that. I was like, holy shit! One of the one of the guys is white, the other one's Asian, and the other one's is Latina, and she's simping for a white dude, like she was in West Side Story. Oh wait, was she Puerto Rican? She's Puerto Rican.
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell
Well,
is
you
Moses Ingram?
Was she Reva, the woman that was going to save Star Wars? Isn't that what they said? That Reva, the
Oh,
the-
that bitch.
yeah, I don't hear anything about her anymore. And but Disney said she was going to be the best thing.
You don't
about
hear
that
nothing
show.
from Chloe Zhao either. And hopefully her swan story will be she did not like how they built her up as this big shot director that's going to bring forth a new era of Marvel, and nothing came up of her movie The Eternals, and she decided to stick to her guns again, which is making movies for herself, sticking to the independent. Because as much as I did like poke fun at her, I don't want to see her fail. She did great, get winning an award on her own by her own merit with No Man Land. Was it No Man Land? Nomad?
Oh no, Nomad's Land.
Nomad's Land. Have not seen that movie, so I can't really put my finger on how good it is.
Me neither.
But I think it's unfair for her to try to have this. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was going to say to Wolf in response to that, she wasn't the right director for Eternals. She shouldn't have never directed that movie in the first place. That's another factor. They say that Marvel casts directors. They don't find the right director. They cast directors.
No, what I was saying was she could have been a good director for the Eternals.
She could have been. I always felt that.
The problem is that they kept hyping her up, and only due to the fact that she won an award. That's it. That was all they did. They put that kind of pressure on her. I'm glad that there probably was.
Oh, there could have been a way Eternals would have worked, Draco, and that could have been your 2019 prequel for the MCU. Instead of you didn't really need to bring Carol Danvers in there. Like, unless if you really wanted to, you should have brought in Captain Marvel.
I have my rewrite of Eternals.
Yeah, but but to really drive home the point to connect it all back to Thanos, that really would have been the Eternals there, and that's when you would bring in Adam Warlock because that's literally his story because he's had history with Thanos a lot. In fact, the Eternals has had history with Thanos too. In fact, Eros, one of the characters in the Eternals, he is actually Thanos' brother. And
what
that
I
could have been.
What I want to say is she could have done well. The problem is that they were coasting on her being this up and coming director that just got the award just now, and she came up with this kind of script. No, what I'm trying to say is they scooped her up at the pivotal moment of the MCU's height. Lots of movies have been made within the MCU, and yet you put in this new director this late in the game, and then you also sell her with a story that's taking place late in the game of superheroes that appeared late in the game, just like Captain Marvel.
Even though it
late
could
in
have
the
been
game.
set a lot early.
And the thing is,
wait.
Sorry, Final. The thing is, Captain Marvel in Eternals. This could eat. The thing is, it could have been if you took time to really think it through on how their absence, how to explain their absence, right? It would have worked. It would have worked. The problem is that they're coasting on this new director. They're coasting on trinkets, identity politics, and all that jazz. And not only that, it's also they also pushed her. Truth be told, I don't think Corey Zhao will even believe in their fucking agenda. She was doing it for the check, which by all means do so if you want to feed your family or rather feed yourself and keep your lights on.
She was tokenized, Wolf. I do agree with you. I think she did it for the check. I think she also did it on her resume. I've done a big budget MCU movie, big budget film. So she did it.
Like
for
I said,
that.
you don't hear nothing from her. And I don't think. And the thing is, nobody's not talking about any sequels to Eternals. No, we're just now getting the new Marvel's sequel to Captain Marvel.
Oh dear God!
Yeah, and that's totally gonna be success, isn't?
Don't that fire onto
Nick
the world.
Fury. I don't even like what they're doing with Nick Fury now.
Oh, I agree.
Nick Fury is just there.
Yeah,
no. put it like this. Say what you will, what they did to him in Captain Marvel. At this point, he's just there.
And they always have to do with the black character, the making
you-
him pussified by
You
fucking
remember-
dumbass stuff. Like, remember?
You remember you remember how deep it went when every time Nick Fury showed up?
Yes.
Like the room, the air in the room just vaporized when he steps in. You held your breath when he's there. Even like say what you will about Age of Ultron, when Nick Fury showed up, that's a big fucking deal. That's all they always made that a big fucking deal. Even in Age of Shield, when it was just Coulson carrying the show for the majority of the series, when Nick Fury showed up,
What the fuck is going on? That's the theme of the story.
Well, think about how
And back then, Agents of Shield only had a lot of connected tissue with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and people, like
it was like a
fans,
side dish to the main
not
dish.
just. Not just fans, but also the actors and actresses involved in Agents of Shield. Like they were looking forward of crossing over into the movies, and Age of Ultron was going to be that until Marvel Studios got cold feet and decided not to pull the trigger.
Yeah,
And
'cause really,
also-
Agents of Shield is like the side dish to the main dish, where it is the MCU. In fact, going back to Eternals, like the way Eternals really would have worked is that even though it would be at least somewhere late in the game, it would take place that late in the game when it's released in 2019. It would take place way before then, like eons ago, like during the creation of the Marvel Universe, because that's what the Eternals were actually meant to be anyway. And actually connecting to Thanos. And then the post-credit scene, that's when they find
it
out,
should
like,
have took place during the fall of Titan. It should have been the origin story for the Titans in Thanos' world. The fall of
yes.
That's
Well,
what
the-
it should have done. They should
Well,
have been a prequel. In fact, they should have died. They should have died in that. They should die in that movie.
So that at least that would explain that what happened to them, that they're dead, so they don't exist.
Like they sacrificed to stall Thanos
Thanos.
while the Infinity Stones were being created, mind you, as well.
Mm-hmm.
He was seeking that, and they were able to scatter the Infinity Stones.
Somewhere in there, like you said, yeah, there should have been some sort of prequel movie showing what you just described. Yeah, we could have got
Like,
that maybe before we got
not
into
everything
Infinity
had
War.
to take place after Endgame. Some places could
Yeah.
take place either during or even before.
Yes.
And the Eternals should have fit in that category of before. I wanted to know that story of what happened to Titan.
Well,
I would like
they
to-
had the
You had to be
they
curious.
had the
Thanos.
original Jack Kirby. These people have the original Eternals run written and drawn by Jack Kirby, and yet they refuse to even look at it. Like in the same way that Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy like threw away like George Lucas's like concept for the sequel trilogy. Even though like for us longtime Star Wars fans, like we had an Episode 7 in Heir to the Empire.
Yeah, we could have done that. I was going to refer back to yeah, I agree with that. I think there should have been some sort of somewhere between, even before you got to Infinity War, there could have been a little bit of backstory on Titan's fall and a noticeable to the Eternals. So when it was time for the Eternals to get their own film, their appearance would have made sense. But just to throw a movie out there out of nowhere didn't make sense at all. None of it makes sense. And now, even now with Adam Warlock coming up, yeah, somewhere, yeah, that's what it should have been. Yeah, all of that could have what they should have did first. That would have helped explain them better and welcome them in. Even with Adam Warlock, it should have made some sort of appearance before how they're using him now, because now they're bringing him in and people have no idea who he is and why he's there. And that's something that you don't want.
At this point, every
I'm
superhero
concerned
movie
with how-
they're just there.
Yeah, they just
and,
released it
and
like it's
suddenly
like
they're
a
important.
yeah, they're
They're
just like a new
totally
character
important.
in Fortnite, like a Fortnite character, like they just released like an Attack on Titan DLC, like because apparently we needed that, so now you could just like go around just swinging across buildings like Spider-Man around, just like oh my god, no one even cares now.
And if I go jump back to your comment about Nick Fury, I totally agree with you about what they've done to Nick Fury now. I think he's become a shell of his former self. I think he's become zombified, meaning he's dead inside, he's just walking around. And you were right about a big deal. Well, I think one of the reasons Winter Soldier was fabulous was because he was an intricate part of that story. He was a really big part of that story. It was a good story arc for him in that story of who he was and why he's there. And also when he had to come to the realization that S.H.I.E.L.D. had to go, that he could not salvage anything because at one point he believed in it. But and then the embarrassment, like Steve said, that all of this was going on right under your nose and you didn't catch.
You didn't catch it.
You know, so all this time you were being you didn't catch that. You did not catch that or see that coming. You know, so Steve was right about that. And then he had to come realize, yep, darn it, he's right. I've got to destroy all of this. And that includes shooting Alexander Pierce. And this was a man he believed in. This was a man that was a hero. This was a man he said, this guy was so honorable. And now I have to take him out. You know, I can't try to save him.
And he didn't do, and Nick didn't do that. Nick didn't do that out of like for the fun of it. It was very heart wrenching because to see his hero being indoctrinated by Hydra after they infiltrated it, as well as other aspects of government. It was like you had to put, it's like putting a rabid dog down.
Yeah, I do agree with you. It was heartbreaking him to come to the realization that, yeah, not only do I have to destroy all of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I have to destroy a man that I believed in, that was like a hero to me. I thought this man was my friend. I thought I trusted my life with this man. But also, like he said, I'm supposed to know everything. I put the Avengers together. I'm supposed to know all these characters, who these people are. But yet, all this time, S.H.I.E.L.D. was becoming infiltrated, and I did not catch it. You know, so that had to.
But no, that's just too interesting. Let's just do whatever the fuck we want with this. That's because we're fucking bored.
Yeah.
Well, getting back to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so like the effects of Captain America and Winter Soldier its effects was wide. As we see like Coulson and the other agents realize that S.H.I.E.L.D. has been infiltrated by Hydra, and also leads out to like Fury making his appearance in its second season finale where they had to take out like the remaining like Hydra agents, and Fury he gave Coulson the toolbox to help rebuild S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, I agree, Dominic. Draco, that's a good point. That's what they should. If they were thinking, you see, if you had good writers, that is what should have happened as well. That is what should have happened as well. If you're going to introduce this other part of the world, but Dominic, you're right about that. But now, because what is it, Secret Wars? That's going to be such a waste of time. I think, and no, for me, I can't speak for anybody else.
They're gonna adapt the new Secret Wars. I think the 2019 Secret Wars specifically, because they're adapting the new Marvel universe. Even though they're introducing
the classics.
Yeah, the 1984 Secret Wars that is actually really good. That one that was actually really good. In fact, even though they're already introducing a lot of the veteran fan favorite characters in the Marvel universe, like they're already introducing She-Hulk and they ruined her character a lot. They've introduced Moon Knight.
They killed her character.
No, they butchered her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And they did the same thing with Moon Knight. They certainly did this with Namor, one of the oldest characters of the Marvel Universe besides Captain America, because he's been there from the beginning of Marvel, in the early days of Marvel.
Oh,
And they just made him an Aztec as Namor Kukulkan, and that middle part in his name just Kuku, and that's literally the writers.
yes.
Not to mention Namor McKenzie. He's one of the first anti-heroes in comic books. When he was made during the Golden Age.
Yes, that's why he was one of the oldest characters in Marvel, besides Captain America, and as well as the original Human Torch. I forgot. It was Jonathan something. I forgot what it was.
Well, Namor and Johnny Storm were originally part of his Captain America's team when he was fighting.
Well, it wasn't Johnny. That wasn't Johnny in the
No. The original Human Torch is Jim Hammond.
Jim Hammond. I thought it was Jonathan. I don't know why it was Jonathan.
No, it's Jim Hammond, and he's an android. Made by Tom Thornton. Tom Thornton for the World Fair. Like during World War II.
Yes.
Well, at the very least, in the early stages of World War II.
Right. So yeah, right. When finally you said that he's been around for a long time, he has been. But boy, my God, that movie just destroyed Namor. Oh, I can't find the words to describe how they just absolutely, totally annihilated and dissimulated Namor. That wasn't Namor what you saw. That was not Namor. And I think it hurt the actor too, because he hasn't acted. No one's talking about him ever since then. I think it made a fool out of him. Oh my goodness.
Not just that. You know, like if Namor is like a creator, like Bill ever like still around or has been brought back to life, he'll be he'll be angry with how Marvel Studios handled his character.
Oh, you bet he'd be so angry. He'll probably come back to life like the ghost out of Poltergeist. Trees and stuff get all uprooted and dead coffins coming out the grave and stuff and coming back to these people for the horrible things that they have done. He
would go to Marvel Comics first before he goes to Marvel Studios because like he wants to know like why did these cats allow the people in the film division do that to one of the characters that has been a long lasting, enduring part of the Marvel universe for decades. And again, like he is one of the oldest characters in comic book history. He deserved better than that.
Oh, he much deserved better than that. Yes, and you could put that all. What they did to him did nothing for him. If anything, Victoria Alonso destroyed the character. She didn't help. She destroyed the character because it was her decision to do that crazy garbage. And yeah, he didn't deserve that. And then, but see, normies didn't know that. They didn't know much about him. I had to explain to people that's not Namor. That is not what you saw. Was not Namor. That wasn't. And you're right, Dominic. It ruined it.
Yeah, because I even explained this to my dad. It's just like when he was talking about this, because like I know my dad has grown up with comics, specifically with X-Men, because my dad is a huge X-Men fan. But he kind of didn't know a little bit much about Namor a bit because he never really known a lot much about him. But I did have to explain Namor to him because like why did they have to make Namor an Aztec? Because really,
he looks like an Indian too.
Yeah, Namor's supposed to be Roman because his name Namor is Roman spelled backwards. In fact, his hero name, the Submariner, was derived from the tale of the ancient mariner. That's where the origins of Atlantis lie.
He's Atlantean.
Exactly. Yeah, and I totally agree.
I thought they would have jumped at the chance to make him make sure he fight another white man, but that's freaking hilarious. That's freaking hilarious how things turned out in that movie. As a matter of fact, why does Namor even want Wakanda when he has a fucking ocean?
Yeah,
not an ocean. He has
70% of the Earth. 70% of the Earth, which is surrounded by water.
To this day, I'm still questioning that. Why the fuck does he want Wakanda?
Because they wanted to make him just much more of a competitor with Black Panther.
Because
even though
dark-skinned people always fighting among themselves, the same thing.
Yeah, because he was one of the four kings.
They want the darkest to fight each other.
Yeah,
Yep.
because he was one of the 4 kings in the Marvel Universe. He was one of them. Then Black Panther's another one. Doctor Doom is another one. I forgot who was another one. I know there was a fourth. I'm trying
I
to
saw that
remember.
fight between him and Shuri. That shit looks so damn clumsy as hell.
Oh my god, that was so bad. Yes, that was so bad. That was cartoonishly silly. It was.
Yeah,
It's
don't even
almost
get me started with
bad.
that with the Ironheart suit. It looks like a toy.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that thing is so
Well, to rub salt into the wound. Well, like Marvel Studios like refuse like Chadwick's family and the fans like wishes of having T'Challa recast because that was his own brother. He even said that like he would like to see the character live on by recasting him.
But that's what they should have did. I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand because here's the thing. They said they were all for. They're supposed to be the company for diversity and hiring black people and pushing black characters, but they did not want to recast T'Challa, which was stupid because one, T'Challa is
He's
an
a man.
original, but he's a black man. They said
They
were
don't care.
for.
He's a man.
Well, African, not black American.
He's still a man.
That's not the point.
He's still a man. I told you guys this years ago, 2 years in fact, that they only care about us men, black men, when we're dead.
Yep.
It's the only time it's like what Tommy Down said in that one song. God damn, I keep forgetting the damn name. Was it Sheeple?
Yep.
So they tell you they tell everyone how they love you when you're dead. Something like that.
Yeah. They only tell you that they care when you leave them or when you're dead or something like that.
Yeah. tell how much they love you when you're dead. I'm like, yeah, that pretty much applies to. Sure, he was making that about the BIPOC movement and all that stuff, but that could apply to anybody that they claim to care about.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the school shootings and stuff like that. How everybody is now focused on the shooter now, and that's not to say that's a new thing. That has always been the thing. Is at this point now. There's Jesus Christ. We're in an era where criminals are celebrated now blindly.
Yep.
They're martyrs.
Instead of being treated like as a cautionary tale, and that they shouldn't be celebrated.
I'm like, at this point now, I'm really worried for the future in our movies because come about 3 years from now, I guess, with the MCU way it's looking, they're probably gonna be doing that where they start celebrating villains more. I mean, they've been celebrating them a lot lately, but it's gonna be in high droves, don't you think?
Oh, I absolutely agree with you 100% because like you said that it seems to me they're celebrating the shooters. Look at what they're doing to the culture in these comics. They're putting more emphasis on the villain. The villain is not really a bad guy. What they're doing isn't bad. Obeying the law is bad. You should break the law, not obey it. Society Joker. Sorry, I have to use that for an example because Joker, Arthur Fleck is really it's the world that's wrong, not him.
He's crazy.
Him.
He's fucking crazy.
He is. Arthur Fleck is a psychopath.
The idiots on the other side think that he's gonna
Usher in the utopia.
No, they think he's gonna create more school shooters and all that stuff. It's like, bitch, where have you been?
But you're seeing that what you're saying, Wolf, you're not far off. We're seeing it
Nah,
already.
they think crime is encouraged through media.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Crime has been old since before the TV. Sorry, Dom. Since before the TV was even invented. Crime was invented since the day the Bible was written.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you when was crime invented. Crime was done when the first murder of Cable and Abel and Abel. That's the first crime, murder.
Well,
That just tells you how old it is. Like it's a part of
Hmm.
nature. People
yes,
do evil things because they can and they have the ability to. It's a part
yeah,
of our free will, sadly.
yes, they do. But there was a time that if you did something evil, you got your up and comings.
Yep.
Somehow, the old thing is what crime does not pay. So you
Yep.
may have done it, but you're not going to get away with it. But that's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
what
yeah,
they're
yeah.
Paper
doing
is
now.
slower than
No,
ever.
no, no. Now they're like
Also,
praising
also,
evil, literally,
also
like
heroes
literally.
or even good Samaritans like were celebrated
Oh, they
for help
vilified now.
for taking down like real villains.
Yeah, because apparently they're trying to worship them as if they were like a sympathetic type of villain, like a more tragic tale. I mean,
Excuse,
oh my,
I'm sorry, not every criminal and villain, all the all those all cats, man and woman, they will not be like Victor Freeze.
yes, because apparently they need to know about the other side. What was it that what was it that wait, I don't want to say it was Joseph Stalin that said that, but I forgot who said that. That the moment you would know your enemy, that's when you begin to fail. I forgot who said that. Like if you were in the shoes of your own enemy, like being in the shoes of your own enemy.
That actually sounds like something Sun Tzu would say.
Oh,
Well, see, exactly what they're doing is they're trying to say there is no bad. They're trying to, that's what I don't like, and that's what's this culture seems to be sucking that up. All the major announcements for upcoming projects, whether it's Marvel or especially DC, particularly DC, are all based on either an anti-hero or a villain. You do not need to make Amanda Waller this anti-hero. She is not. She is a
She's
I don't think
bad
she is.
woman. Well, the TV show, not the TV show, but the streaming show that was announced by James Gunn said they're going to portray her more like a victim.
oh my god.
No,
Here we
no,
go
Yeah.
no,
again with
do
the
she's a
not.
hat.
government
Don't ever,
official.
don't ever do that to Amanda Waller.
Yeah, she's a
Oh, this,
government official. You don't need to do that. That's all you need to know about her. She's a government official with a morally gray
Must I do
area.
it?
Not gray.
I guess I'll
No,
do it.
no, she's not
Must I
gray.
do it? I
Morally
probably
gray.
will.
Morally
Yeah,
gray.
yeah. Morally, yeah, you can call her gray, but she's more of the fact that she
Must
was.
I do it? I guess I should.
What do
Give
you?
me a sec. Give me a sec.
what, to put it, what, to put it to you this way, final. Well, where would you put Amanda Waller in the morality scale under D&D logic?
Well, I mean myself,
Part of me
I
likes
don't.
to say lawful neutral, probably. I mean, well, she's a government official. That would be more lawful, but more of on the neutral side. Um, but the reason why I say neutral is because, and while she was mostly just like trying to force them into forcing criminals into doing good things into doing that, but that's the thing, she's doing it by force into thinking that'll basically just help them retaliate when they really wouldn't, because the Suicide Squad is composed of nothing but a bunch of villains, and that's always been the thing about DC villains.
They're all crazy.
That's mostly Batman's villains, but yes.
Yeah, of course. Not just that. Not just that. But the number of time, well, like her other underhanded actions, like it gets her into conflict with other heroes of the DC universe, the Justice League
Yeah,
most especially.
yeah. Yeah, because a part of me wants to say lawful neutral, but then another part of me wants to say like true neutral.
I kind of see her as I wouldn't. Sometimes I always said that maybe she did things to serve herself.
Yes.
Should I do it? I guess I am doing it.
Oh
Amanda
boy, here we
Waller,
go.
born in St. Louis, Rhodes Scholar, PhD in political science, served in intelligence under the three administrations, disappeared from public life 4 years ago. Am I supposed to be impressed Maybe I should rattle off your resume now. I could blow the whistle on you at any time I want. Fine. Why don't we step into the light together? I'm sure the American people will just be as interested in your activities as mine. Secret weapons, illegal cloning experiments, bypassing Congress. What do you want? I want to know what I want to know what you think you're doing. Did Superman ever mention that to get Luthor's pardon, he had to tell us about your parallel universe adventure? All about it. We started to wonder what would happen if you took the same action that the Justice Lords did. So I did my people. So I had my people run some computer simulations. The Justice League ever went rogue. What do you think would be the result? That's moot. Humor me. In every single scenario, you beat us badly, but that was before Cadmus. Now we have the technology to defend ourselves. Whatever you think you're doing, you present a threat to the world. The Justice League will take you down. If we present a threat, you got a spaceship floating over our heads with a laser weapon pointing down. In another dimension, 7 of you overthrew the government and assassinated the president. We're the good guys, protecting our country from a very real threat. You.
That is from Justice League, and that was
Unlimited.
Yes.
Did that bitch sound like she was the victim?
Nope. Nope. And to this very day, the DC anime universe captured the essence of Amanda Waller perfectly from the comics, and CCH Pounder was the perfect choice to voice her.
Yes, that's called great. That is called perfect voice casting. That was called perfect voice casting for her. But my thing is this, guys. If this is it seems to be their focus is on darkness. Heroes are not supposed to be about darkness. They're supposed to be light. And again, they keep putting emphasis on villainy, an anti-hero. And that I'm seeing
because
more,
it sounds like they never got out of their awkward teen years.
Maybe you giving me, well, that's good putting it there, Final. Maybe that's what it is. That you got
good reason. Well, that's one side. The other the other side is they're operating under a postmodern and more relativist mindset.
That could go fuck itself right up the ass.
Exactly, because it's very like both of those philosophies are not only self-defeating but also destructive in the long run, because they don't really provide any solutions or critiques of the movements that came before them. In this case, modernism. Postmodernism, most especially, has shown to have done more harm than good in the long run for Western civilization.
This is where my expertise come into play, because I'm the only one who keeps saying the Marxists need to go. But okay, I'm sorry, just wanted to be funny. But just to let you know, you're absolutely correct, and the reason for that is because the only reason that they exist is to destroy. They literally go around things, critiquing things that don't need to be critiqued, trying to dismantle any type of structure a society has. And the reason they do this is very, very simple. They want to adhere to the philosophy of what is his name again? I remember. Fuck. Foucault and Derrida, which is basically like society can be dismantled and made up to be whatever you want it to be. And then what they keep forgetting is that the aspects of human nature is what makes a society a human society to begin with. We're not an ant society. We're not a cockroach society. We're not a society of cats. We're human beings, and we have emotions. We have logic. We have aspects of parts of our brain that make no sense, which is usually emotional driven, and we have parts that actually have the logic behind it, which allows us to think ahead of time and proceed beyond the now. But here's the thing: these people don't understand this, and they don't understand this because they think that man, as a whole, humanity, is malleable and can be changed and can be crafted to whatever mold they want. And that's not how society works. Society shows what natural systems exist in humanity and brings it forward. That's what society is. It's a collectivist group. It's like a More
It's
like
a hive mind.
not a hive mind, more like it is the surface level of of thought in the human race, society. But the individual is much more important, and that's what they don't understand. People are different individually, not collectively. Because if you collectivize anything, let's say for example you collectivize black people. I'm black, but I'm not African American black. I'm actually African. You have Wolf, who is African American, and he has different takes on things, and I agree and disagree with him. That does not make us the same. We're not collectively the same. We might have the same genetic composition, but that's generally 99%, if not the entire human race, has the same genetic markers to begin with. That's not the point here. What I'm getting at, what I'm getting at, these people do not understand that fundamentally stories have a structure that is inherent to the societies that they're originate from. For example, um, the Grimm stories. Grimm stories were from the dark Germanic stories, because the stories at that time were dark. They were to teach you a lesson of not believing in strangers and to be wary of the forest and the darkness in it, and all these type of stories. Like you have Hansel and Gretel, for example.
Mhm.
All of these are moral stories. What they want to do is they want to remove the aspect of morality so that people can, degrade themselves in vice, in basically in the virtues of evil. Evil doesn't have any virtue; it only takes. So that's the problem. They're looking at it from the perspective that the villain is free because he doesn't have to give up anything; he just takes. If you look at Doctor Doom, if you look at Thanos, all of them are villains. But why are they villains? The term villain comes from vice. And vice is basically sin, evil. And why are they evil? Because they indulge in their baser instincts. Anger, wrath, which is basically wrath, vengefulness, uh,
Revenge, lust,
revenge,
pride,
Yes.
lust,
greed,
pride.
love.
Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. Those are the things. These sins are not just sins because Christianity. No, it's of course from a Christian background. That's correct. But from a religious perspective, it is one of the fundamental laws that you should not break. But again, that's why I'm saying this. These people want total freedom. They don't want total freedom for the sake of total freedom or to give people the maximum ability to thrive. No, they want to give them total freedom so they can be enslaved to what? To their vices. And what are they enslaved to? To their rage, the black community, the African American community in America. What are they enslaved to? They're enslaved to their rage and their emotions. What do you have the transgender emotion and transgender people are they enslaved to? To their lust and their greed. And the bankers, greed and wealth and power. All these are just, as you can see, excesses. Basically, they're drowning in vice, and they want to drown us in vice. And that's the end of my tirade.
Very well
Of course.
said, Tweldy.
Yeah, I
Um,
know I might be going all over the place. I'm sorry, but it's just that's how I have to
No.
explain it.
I got
No,
your
no,
point.
no. I mean, we all got out your point because it does contribute to this point of the discussion. Now the solution. Well, one of the solutions is to get us to get things back on track. Is to raise our standards back to where they were instead of continuously lowering them.
Yes, exactly. Because I even had the seven deadly sins as my villains in Light and Darkness. Yes, there would be some that are sympathetic, like Cholera, who's the sin of wrath. He's angry. What is he angry at? The world for basically just abandoning him after he just lashed out. And I will not give any other reasons as to why.
Quiet. Don't spoil, man. You've already spoiled. Don't
Not
do
so
that.
much.
Yeah. But still,
I know.
calm down. I know you like your
But-
story, but I want to read it.
I know, but let me explain.
Mhm.
But that's as far as a sympathetic background as you're going to get, because what he's doing is still evil. He's already just going around just causing a rampage, causing destruction everywhere. That's why he has a hammer, a war hammer, for his weapon. Or if you want to go for villain stories, so stories that are focused on villains, even then they're focused on villains. I'll give you three examples. First one, Darth Bane from the Darth Bane trilogy of Star Wars books. This is basically where he created the rule of two, and with that creation, this shows the wicked intentions of the Sith, which I would not have to explain to you on how the rule of two works because I know a lot of you are smarter than this. And going back to Star Wars, Darth Plagueis, where we get the origins of Emperor Palpatine and how he became a Sith Master. But now a third villain, this time not focused around Star Wars, and another villain protagonist who is actually beloved a lot, Sweeney Todd. He's out for revenge. What is he out for revenge for, Wolf? What is he out for revenge for?
His daughter and his wife.
That would be avenging them, but he's only would be slaying Turpin for himself alone.
Right.
But in consequence of doing that, he was causing in a blind rage. Well, he did kill Judge Turpin, but he killed many other people in the process, though not all of them, as there would be some witnesses into his barbershop. But one of the victims that he kills was the beggar woman. And who is the beggar woman? His wife, Lucy, that he thought was dead because Mrs. Lovett lied to him.
She's not off the hook either because she fed people to people.
Yes, exactly. And so then, in consequence of doing that,
She didn't even need to do all that. None of them needed to kill those people.
Yeah, they really didn't. But Todd really, he had it, or no, not that he had to. He had to do that because he's out for revenge for Turpin because of what he did to him.
I'll practice on less honorable throats. I'm like, how do you quantify less honorable throats?
Because he's out for revenge against
on a family man, though. So
yeah, because so then when Mrs. Lovett lied to him, he then threw Mrs. Lovett to burn her alive in the furnace for lying to him, and then he died in the process by letting Toby kill him since he's got nothing to live for that. So now he's living the consequences of that.
Well, let me. That's very true. That's a good analogy to use. Final. I think sometimes also that many fans today have took the long lessons from. Let's go back to Star Wars, to Anakin Skywalker, which is Luke Skywalker. A lot of them. Anakin's story is tragic.
Yep.
It is a tragic story. It is not heroic. A lot of kids I talk to now thought like, yeah, if I was Anakin, I would do the same stuff he did. No, you did not, because he many things he led to his own downfall. Even though he is redeemed through his son, through Luke Skywalker, that's the beauty of the story, and that's why I always tell people I love Return of the Jedi, because there was this one person that knew that his father was good. But Anakin didn't know he was good, but Luke knew he was good. But Anakin's story is not to be put on a pedestal. Anakin's story is to be a warning to you about what can happen to you if you fall into the mistakes. Let's take, for example, his issue with
redemption wasn't even a plan in itself. It was just natural. It was nature. Luke wasn't even going on a gamble. He wanted his father back. You can, it's a tale for us to never underestimate the love a child have for their parent. That they always want to see some good in them, unless that person has always been evil to them. Like, think about it like this: what did Obi-Wan tell of Anakin Skywalker in the beginning of A New Hope?
That he died?
No.
When he told Luke, you mean? You mean Luke in the beginning of A New Hope?
Yes.
Okay, about Anakin. Okay, go ahead.
That he was a great pilot and a great Jedi and a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he started telling Anakin's story. What came after was his fall. That's what helped start the spark of Luke Skywalker. You know,
Yes.
granted, Obi-Wan did lie about Darth Vader killing Anakin Skywalker when in fact, yes, figuratively speaking, yes, he did.
Yeah.
But his son revived him in the end because once again, it was that innate nature within him to want to see his father to come back to the light. And
What-
he trusted he did the one thing he he was always told to do, trust in the force.
But I agree with you. But in Return of the Jedi, didn't Yoda and Obi-Wan tell Luke they wanted him to kill Vader, and then Luke said he couldn't do it, and then Obi-Wan
That's what I
told him
mean.
that. Okay, all right, okay.
That's what I mean. Like they're following what the code compels them to do, what their teachings compel them to do, what their nature compels them to do as Jedi, which is to slay the darkness. But you're turning your blade onto your friend or former friend. You know that
Yes.
still has confliction within him. And if you fall back into the EU stories, yes, Vader is cruel, but there has always been that sense of hesitation or that sense of pity within him.
Well, yeah, we
Yes.
saw it a lot in
fact, that was one of my
in-
favorite aspects of the extended universe. That we go more,
Mhm.
even with Darth Vader, behind the mask of the cruel Sith, is a broken man who lost literally everything. And while the Clone Wars, they try to do that, but the thing is, you really didn't even need to do that, Filoni. You really didn't. You really didn't even need Anakin to be this heroic in order to be that way, because Anakin was already tragic enough already, ever since Episode 2.
It helped.
Well, in Revenge of the Sith, you see some of the conflict going on in him.
I was saying, like, Episode 2 is what
Yeah.
sparked it. Like,
Yeah.
Episode 2 is
Okay.
what sparked it since his mom died.
Yes.
He saw his mother die.
Yes. Right.
I'm right. I'm rewriting that. I'm rewriting that line read in my head every day.
And I agree with all of you, but the message is to some, they're not getting it, what his story is about.
So
You don't want to turn
He's
it to
holding me
him.
back.
Yeah.
He's
see,
jealous.
No,
mhm.
that's
I killed
that's another
Not just
solution
the women.
that we need to
Not
do.
just the
Is
men. the women and the children too. They were like animals, so I slaughtered them like animals. I hate them.
Well,
It's
I
like,
was going to.
George, if you could regale me for a minute, I could write this dialogue way better. And I'm not even that damn good with dialogue my damn self.
I
But
believe
Jesus
you will.
Christ, it was so fucking. One, it was
Yes.
bloated, but it was also clunky. It's like Hayden Christensen, bless his heart. I'm sure he could have delivered that. I was like, I know in my heart, Hayden Christensen could have delivered this scene well enough. It was just the freaking dialogue that he was settled with. Damn it, George. Now we see, like, dude, like, I don't care about your divorce with your wife. Have her still on the damn project.
Took the words right out my mouth. That's what I was about to say.
That's ancient history.
Mhm.
I'll tell you
Now that brings in another thing that I do wanted to say that I explained way earlier here. It was way before the article that we were talking about before the Akira live action movie.
Yeah. Get to the good part.
It sounds like from the many times that we go on our own tangents, I feel like that's gonna be, yes, as passionate as we are, yes, I know we are passionate about this, but here's the thing. Because we're so passionate about this, I feel like that's gonna be our own downfall. Because Professor Geek even said this in the Saturday night stream. Office hours, I think that's what they're called.
Mhm.
With the insecurity of
Kill
fandom.
one. Okay, maybe I won't kill one of you.
hey, let the man speak.
With the insecurity of fandom. And I feel like and yes, we're passionate as we are, that's also gonna be our downfall because we keep on going on passionate tangents on literally everything, whether it comes to any form of medias, from movies to shows to games to even novels to anime and manga, everything. And I have a feeling that's gonna be on Ishii too, or not on, to an extent, Ishii and everyone else on Ishii. And I'm hoping that he might watch this because on Ishii and Cat, because I'm really hoping they would.
We need to have focus.
Yes.
We have focus and we need focus and logic to guide our passions. No, so we can't anything we do, it cannot be driven by passion alone.
Yes, because the more we just keep saying this, the more we just keep sounding like broken records. Like Leia just keeps saying a lot, because
And
that's the reason why.
And that's one of the solutions.
But
Solutions
the thing
like
is,
for us like we need to ground them with focus. But in the macro scale, like these modern quote unquote artists, like they're misguided. Kind of like they need to be guided back to the right path.
Yes.
I love your optimism, but this is where I kind of disagree with you.
Well, Dave,
What?
come on, how many times have we talked about this? Don't go back to the person that you were back then.
It's not about that. It's more to do with the fact that I'm beginning to see that there is a pattern to things. So I'm becoming more realistic in my expectations.
That's your ass, Mr. Postman.
Oh, Wolf doesn't mean it to you. If I may respond to Final and Dominic, I kind of have to agree with Tweldy a little bit. I get what you're saying, Final. I do. Now, I'm going to use myself for example here. Being that I am, because somebody else came up with this, I've been confronted by this, what you said before. And even myself, I do agree. I don't want to be Miss Negative all the time and sound like a broken record. I try not to be. I'm trying to be optimistic. But being perhaps that I'm old, the mature one here, I have seen beloved franchises get almost murdered, assassinated, and destroyed. And I grew up with these franchises. It's kind of like watching your house get blown. Now you know you're wrong when I'm about to make a stop it. You were wrong. I was about to make a point here. No,
hold on. Let the late lady speak.
Yeah, sorry.
Being she said she was the mature one.
I didn't even like that. So I may have more passion and maybe some anger than perhaps
Final. Share with us with your BSM fetish, okay?
What?
Well.
That's what that sound is, Wolf.
I was like, then you got the bullwhip and everything in the background. It's like, jeez, Final. I thought you were the warrior light. Now you the warrior of leather.
That's my
Wolf, if you keep this up, I will get the spray bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not
my palm. That's what it is.
Not the dreaded spray waddle. No.
Come on. We're having an honest conversation here, and we want to hear Leia speak. Come on.
Okay, I don't know really.
Look, she said. Look.
Thank you, Dominic.
She said like Tweldy has a point. So let's hear her out, and then we can respond to her accordingly.
Tweldy has a point, and Final has a point. But what I was trying to say, Final, the reason I'm trying to explain negative is because being that I am mature, I feel like my generation they're trying to erase my generation and the time when these franchises were beloved. There's a reason why good stories last. They last because they are good stories. So I might have more passion and fire and anger about what I'm seeing than perhaps someone like yourself who may have not known certain franchises for very long because you're still young. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but I'm meaning I'm seeing my generation almost like being erased. And I can't just sit back and slowly just accept it. In other words, I have to speak out, because if I don't, it won't get acknowledged what is going on and what is happening, and why I feel so angry about it, and why I'm furious at what's happening to Star Wars, what's happening to Marvel, and why I feel the way that I do about it. So I do think some passion should be part of the ingredient. I think you just can't do it without it. I'm not angry for the sake of being angry. I'm angry because I'm seeing my generation and those stories that I have loved, that are good stories that I've endured, that I've passed down even to my nephew, starting to get erased or destroyed simply because a group of people are angry at certain things. With that being said, I do understand that we're trying to be positive, but I can't sit and give a stamp on something I know is gobbledygook.
Yes, I understand that.
I just can't.
Absolutely, that's valid. Because,
Of course.
and the reason why I say that's going to be our undoing is because we just keep saying this so many times, and that's exactly what they want. They just want us to get angry. That's exactly what. And really, what they deserve more than anything is a punch to the face, or a bitch slap to the face, or in the mouth, just for doing that, just to get them to shut
nerds
up.
need to become bullies to bully the intellectuals, the pseudo quote unquote intellectuals. That's what we need to do.
But then how do we fight it, Final? If we don't want to be broken records, how do we combat them?
We always create.
Mm-hmm. I see. Well, it's like this. I agree with you. You create, but also I usually avoid. So if I know something is going to be gobbledygunk, me personally, I speak with my wallet. So I don't pay to watch a certain film or buy a certain book or see a certain show. That's one way I look at it. So that way I don't give them more money to keep doing the things that they're doing. But I'm not saying your point isn't valid, Final. That's why I asked, how do we combat it then? But as I said before, if it's gargly gunk, I have to say that it is. And maybe because I have seen so much and I don't like what I'm seeing. And it's just like when I was telling you, Final, I was going to ask you, why do you think The Phantom lasted so long on Broadway for 40 years? And that was because it was a good musical and told a good story. And they need to get back to telling good stories are good stories, no matter what it is, whether you're telling something from a comic book, whether you're telling something from a novel, whether you're telling an animated feature or video game. A good story is a good story, no matter what. Everyone will love it. You don't have to make any necessary changes if you just tell that story right. And that is what they've lost faith in. Well, it will be a good story if we change the character to black or gay or whatever. No, the story will reign powerful no matter what. So I believe in good stories, and I like to fight for the good storytelling back. And maybe it could be it could be my own doing. Captain Rogers and Luke Skywalker, they're more to me than just characters from a page or from a book. They are part of my culture. They're part of my life. They've been there for me, for my ups and my downs. They got me through some of the deepest situations, and they helped me rise above the problems that I had where I saw other friends and family members who didn't. So they mean much more to me to that. So having them be destructed like this, it's like watching a family member get assassinated or shot down or massacred. So you're right. That could be my own weakness with particularly this case. So it hurts like a knife to the gut when I see what they're doing to these characters and to these franchises. And it's probably why I can't be silent about it.
Yeah, and the other reason, there's another reason why. I'm not trying to say that's justifying, because what you're saying is absolutely valid, because I do stand for this too, as doing this for storytelling, because I do art for art's sake. I don't do this much for competition, but that's a whole other thing. But the reason why I do this, because I really care about you guys. I really do, because I just don't want you to guys just be angry all your life. Being angry all your life is not always going to be a good thing.
Same. Yeah, same.
I agree.
Same here on my end.
No, I agree. I don't argue your point, one big. You make a very good point, Final. I do agree with that. And I try not to. So when Wolf suggests these other fun topics for us to do, I am all in for it. Like manga is something I am not familiar. When first started, I was not familiar with, I'll be honest, but I am learning. I'm open to learning new things. So when he does a new fun topic, I'm all for it. But let me ask you this, guys, being what you're saying, do we support them if they do something right? Or like a studio say maybe they do a movie that's right, and we have to, like, a lot of people are loving Picard season 3. I've never been a big Star Trek fan. I'm more of Doctor Who than Star Trek.
There's
But
no
they're
way in
loving
hell I'm gonna be watching that series if that series is only it's only like 30% correct.
But I agree with you. But all the YouTubers seem to think it's the second coming of Christ. They think that
I'm saying I can
Can I-
support a production that's only 30% good.
Can I say something here? The
Yes.
reason the reason why people are saying that it's so good, it's very simple. It's because they've been deprived of good storytelling for such a long time that when they see a liquid drop of good storytelling, they're like, this is the most wonderful story I've ever had.
Like finding water in a desert.
Yep, exactly. But in actuality, the story is not that great.
Yeah, because it really doesn't change how much Picard is much of a dumpster fire.
He's
No,
a
not-
robot.
and not-
He's not
and not
he's
to
not even
mention-
Picard. He's not even Picard. He's a robot or a cyborg, whatever.
Yeah, I heard he's been turned into some sort of robot or machine or
Oh
something.
yeah, he's turned
Yeah.
into a Borg. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
previously. No, previously
yeah,
he was
previously
he
he
was
was a Borg.
forcefully at that. But in Picard, he had his mind transferred into an android body.
Yeah, that looks exactly like him and is an old man. Why? I don't know.
Because that's exactly Picard's age, or no, not
Yeah.
Picard's age, or Patrick
Patrick
Stewart's
Stewart.
age.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly my point. They can't make him younger, so yeah. Oh god.
Yeah,
If it
and so
was,
yeah, Leia,
I don't know what's
you
stopping them
you
now.
are. Yeah, so yeah, Leia, you are absolutely right about saying this, and Twilde, you two
Mhm.
are also right about it.
Thank you.
But you've given me something to think about, Final. So I will give you that.
Oh,
And just to let you know,
you did
I
not
do
just do
agree.
that.
I do
Mhm.
agree with you about the positivity aspect, but it's
Yeah.
just that when I see evil, I'm going to point it out and just say like, evil right here.
Yes.
I've
Well,
been
of
waiting for this
Well, of course,
moment
like even the most,
all
even
my
the even the
life.
most like
Yes.
optimistic and even the most optimistic and or like heroic individual, like they will point out evil too. Like
Yeah.
everybody,
Yes.
like
And I've
everybody
been
will.
waiting for
Yeah,
this
but that's the thing
moment
though. Like
all my life.
a lot of people these
Oh,
days
Lord.
Whoa,
are
come on.
Yeah.
Well, let the man speak.
it's okay. I'm done.
No, go ahead, Twildy. Finish. You've been giving us pearls of wisdom tonight.
Nah. We're gonna close it here because I'm getting sleepy. Damn it.
Can I
Yeah,
ask Final one last question?
Go
Final,
ahead.
you say you don't want to see us angry all the time. How do you suggest we keep that to a minimum? I'm curious.
Well,
Was it by creating things new? Is that what you meant?
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Well, no-
Wolf already said the answer. We just create.
or I
Okay.
can even give you a better solution if you don't mind me asking answering.
Go ahead.
Twildy.
Look for stories that are actually pretty good. We already
Yes.
have them. We have the Pulps. I have Ridiculum that I'm going to read. I have a couple of old stories that I have, and I have a bunch of books that I have to read. That's why I don't bother with this new stuff. Because why keep it in your head, affecting you and polluting your mind, when you can just read good old stories away from all this trash?
Yeah, because
I
I got
got a better way of saying what he just said. We got plenty of good old shit to talk about. And the only reason why we're able to talk about that good old shit is because that good old shit is eternal.
Yep.
yes.
Yes.
Because I got so much to read on my end because I'm only like 2 chapters left on The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and the Chronicles of Narnia before getting to the 3rd book in the series. But as to other books, I got all 7 of the Witcher books, and one pretty legendary compendium, not a comic book compendium, but from one certain author.
Mark Twain. Oh, I didn't know
Yep.
you were reading the Chronicles of Narnia. I love those
Yep.
books.
Yeah, because I got
Jeez,
them
yes.
over on my bed. Because this is all the works by Mark Twain, or not all of the works,
Wow.
but most other works by Mark Twain. So The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, The Prince of the Pauper, The Tragedy of Pudd'nhead Wilson. Most of the famous works by Mark Twain.
Whoa, that's a good selection. Thank God you got it before they get a hold of it and try to change it. So good for you. Good for you. Read it as the author intended it to be. What was I going to say?
Well, on my end, I'm currently reading book 4 of a horror series written by Brian Lumley called Necroscope Deadspeak. And it's actually part of a five book series, which focusing on the main hero Harry Keogh, who is teaming out with with eBranch. eBranch, a secret government organization in the UK. Okay, and they're dealing with vampires.
Oh, what's the name of it again? I've been longing for a good vampire story. What's the name of it again?
If you want to know about the Necroscope, start with book 1, and it's written by Brian Lumley. It to help sweeten the deal, it's a good old modern pulp story.
I'm gonna check that out. On my end, well, like I said, I've been watching, the classic TV shows that I love. I'm currently binging Remington Steele, a show that I love, that I'm going back to that, and it still holds up. And I am watching a show from Britain from the 1960s. I have to make it clear. It's not the Avengers Marvel. It's called The Avengers, and it deals with, if you want to look these up, if you can find it, I would say try it, but it has stood up the test of time. And the two leads are Emma Peel and John Steed. And
the spy show,
yes.
The Avengers.
Yep,
Yes.
that's the one. Yep, that's the one final.
That's the one
Oh,
final.
I remember watching a few episodes of the Avengers through TV Land.
Yes, they're now on Amazon Prime, and I have been going back and watching it, and I love it because I'm like you, Dominic. I saw it on Amazon Prime, and I fell in love with it. It holds up so good. Emma Peel and John Steed are like one of my all-time favorite spy teams. I love that show. They were two of my two favorite characters, and she is they talk about no strong female leads. Emma Peel was way ahead of her time, Dom. If you remember some of the episodes with her, she was so ahead of her time.
You gotta remember, Leia.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta remember, no matter what, you can present any evidence of any kind, any facts about how good these female characters are. They always find something, anything wrong with them.
Well, they'll try. They'll try and fail because we have like physical copies.
Because
that's what they think, but internally they know they're wrong. However, they don't want to admit it. Not willing to have their minds changed.
So a woman sexy, automatically a turn off. Automatically she's not worth looking at. Put a makeup on a girl, automatically her worth is just diminished. It's like that. That's their way. They always. The problem with these idiots is the fact that just because they think in reverse, that means they're the ones that's winning. So the reverse will be take the makeup off. She looks better without it. And 9 times out of 10, that can be wholesale true. In some cases, it's a case by case situation. It doesn't make the whole. It doesn't make the definitive. Period. That's what they want to make it as, the definitive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Skinny, fat. cute, ugly, clean skin, scar skin. They think in the reverse. White, black, Mexican, Latino, or Indian. And that's a weird reversal right there.
And the
But
most been one of all, do not let her fall in love with a man. Oh, that's the
love with
last
hate.
one on the
It's
list.
such a black and white worldview.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, make her fall in love diminishes her power because free from man's world is what they think. Freedom from man's world. It's not man's world. It's a humanity's world. We built this together, not just the men.
That's
Yes.
the thing. But that's the thing, Wolf. They don't want the cooperation between the sexes. They want this sex fight between men and women.
As
They want
in-
to separate.
As history
Competition.
always,
Yep.
as history always says, men was sharing the world was never men's. How would you say it? Was never mankind's strongest feat. I'm calling Xavier.
Mm.
Anyways, I'd like to thank everybody for being here. Those 7 of you and those 9 just the motherfuckers that kept popping in and out. Thank everybody for hearing us go on and on and on and on a tirade. Let's get into our comments real quick before we head on out. Before we head on, because I overlooked a lot of people while I'm still trying to stay awake here.
Poor Wolf is dying.
Yeah, we don't want
Help!
to sleep.
Help! Someone get him some meat.
Humble Mari says, that's a postmodern part. The deconstructed anger. The modern art part goes, fuck it. I'll make my own the way I see it. And if it's slightly different, cool. Child, here is my stance when something turns good after it being crap. Why the fuck didn't you do this sooner if you had the potential to be good in the first place? That's from Picard.
That was Picard, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was directed towards Picard.
No,
Of
no,
course,
okay,
of course. I'll keep. For you, man. Probably about the end of this year or next year, we'll do Kinokumen and Saint Seiya. Ultimate Muscle for those who are not they're not so initiated. Child Flowers reading Count of Monte Cristo, and it surprised me how much of a character Villefort is in the book to where he is the prime villain when he doesn't have the emotional connection to Dante.
Well, it's good she's reading a good book. All right, child. Yeah, I'm going to try to find me some good books to read.
She also asked where you're watching Remington Steele.
If you're still here, Child of Flower, it is on Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, that is where all 5 seasons are currently being streamed.
I like this one. She says, Humble says, isn't fearing a woman falling in love with a man heterophobic? Yeah, we might as well start calling that
It
term.
is. It is.
There's a huge mass heterophobia in this day and age.
Oh, woman-loving man.
That's why we can't get romantic movies, because no one is willing
Goodness
to follow
gracious.
the
Don't
man.
even get me started on romantic movies I've seen so far. I haven't even seen them. I only saw the trailers of them and know exactly where they're going. The title says it all, too. Neostar says, they want to pretend we haven't had strong female characters since 2010. That applies to every damn thing, by the way. Even though actively disrespect the work of actresses and writers that came before them. Yes, they're catty ass bitches, I'm sure. I got books to read. By the way, guys, Humble has books to sell as well. So if nothing else, check the interview that we had with her last time, so you guys can see if you guys want to check out her stories. Just 2 stories right now, and not only that, check out Draco's story, Star Warden. We also have an interview stream with him that you can go and check the link there. Click on just that stream to find a link there. I do link their stuff in the description. I don't know how you blind motherfuckers don't see it. I hope you blind motherfuckers do see it. God damn it, man! I'm just talking about your damn Star Warden.
God.
Negro, you gonna make me pounce on you. Do you
Don't.
not hear what I just said? Are you not listening to the damn stream? Are you not paying attention?
He ain't paying attention.
I guess he ain't. We need to drag him in one day. Help him focus. Thank you all for being here. That is the lovely lady of Valor plus size.
Hello, everyone. This is Leia Plus Size, your lovely lady of valor, and I want to thank everyone that joined us this evening for our rants or whatever you want to call it. Child, I hope you heard me what I said about Remington Steele. And if you have any comments or questions, or any of you want a suggestion on what you would like for us to talk and discuss about, please leave it in the comments below. I am very sure Wolf will appreciate that. And as we said, we're going to try to see if we're not going to rant too much for you. I will work on it myself and try to give you something fun and happy and lift your spirits. But until then, I hope you all have a very good week and see you next time.
We do got the Lord of the Rings trilogy coming up.
Yippee!
Oh yeah, the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movies. Right.
Yay! Yippee!
I need to see those again.
Now that
Please
Electric
do,
Switch-
12D.
I saw them a long time ago. It's just I don't remember.
We must refresh
now
your
that
memory.
Final Electric stuff as tribute, Final Fantasy Fan 12.
Well, that about does it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, click like and subscribe and share with your family and friends. And make sure you ring the notification bell. That way you get notified of our latest videos. Go subscribe to Wolftan Media if you haven't already. Go subscribe to me if you haven't already. And again, be sure you stay tuned in June this year for episode 7 of Comic Studies, as I will be doing Superman for all seasons for a celebration of Superman's 85th anniversary this year. It's going to be quite the doozy on this one. Be sure you stay tuned for that one. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Final Fantasy Fan 12 signing off. And remember, may the light forever shine upon us.
The African Snake 12 Day.
Well, it seems it's my turn again. Oh shit.
Oh, hey, it's my turn again. Ah, shit, I lost.
Yeah. Just to let you know, it's a pleasure to talk here in this stream. I like talking too much, so that's my problem. And I seem to be pulling the conversation somewhere that it shouldn't be intended to. But that's the thing. We need to have different ideas to talk about. So that's why. But anyways, thank you anyways for being here, listening to my fucking rant. And have yourself a wonderful day or evening or whatever.
We love you, 12D.
Thank you. We love me too.
We cannot Neil Star for this one next time. The Hound of the South, Donic Powell.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us in tonight's live stream. If you like what you see here, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to Wolf10 Media's channel. Like what I said, if there are any other topics of discussion that you would like us to do in the future, make sure you put them down in the comment section. And as the secondary hope bringer of this group, this is the Hound of the South, Donic Powell signing off. And remember to keep hope, idealism, and optimism alive in the world, but make sure to balance it out with practicality and realism.
Preach.
Very well said.
Indeed, I am impressed.
Spend your work coming up with Tam. Remind you guys, once again, you are the UN Spacey. Welcome to Wolf Fleet.
Why the fuck you lying? Why?